Welcome to the Microsoft Access training from Corporate Bridge. I hope that this course is extremely useful to you and you make the most out of the learning that you're going to get from this course. I have made it as practical as possible and we're going to do a lot of examples and case studies through this course so that you can yourself practice it in real and learn how wonderful this tool from Microsoft is. If you don't know what and how it is useful, Microsoft Access is basically helpful to maintain databases. And what are these databases and how can it be managed using Microsoft Access is what we're going to see in this PPT, a small presentation. Moving ahead, let's understand what a database is. Database is basically a collection of data which is stored in the computer system. And this database will allow its users to enter data, access data, update and analyze data more quickly and easily. For example, when you go to a doctor or when you go to a grocery store to purchase anything or when you're shopping online, all the information is basically stored in a database. Also, if we take an example like if you're running a business, okay, so you would be having the list of customers that buy products from you, the list of various orders that they have placed, a list of products and services that you offer, along with the list of invoices, etc. So you always maintain a certain kind of database, and all those lists or data put together would become the database, which are linked together. The information in one data is linked to the other data sheet, and this is partially also called as the relational database, wherein we create relationships between the data and which is broadly called as a database. So how does Access come into help? How does Microsoft Access come into help? In this picture, Microsoft Access is basically a database software program or a database management system, as they call it, DBMS, which was created by Microsoft in order to store, organize, and manipulate data as well as report on that data. Okay, so it is a collection of tools that will allow you to process data very efficiently, moving in and out of the data. It maintains the quality of the data and also it remains consistently entered and valid. So it ensures that the data is perfectly fine in the database. This we already saw. It is a collection of data or information about a subject. It is very helpful in order to manage the data and analyze it usefully. Many a times we would have lot of data with us and it becomes very difficult when you have to manage lot of data and also analyze it. So this Access will help us in doing it in real time. Okay. Also, you can sort the information in many ways and you can just extract only certain amount of data that you require that is needful to you, and you can also summarize it in the form of reports. Moving ahead, let's look at the terminologies or the main components in Access. To briefly tell you, Access is made up of four main components. One are the tables, second are queries, third is forms, and fourth is reports. The very first thing that we're going to learn is tables. We're going to see all of these components practically in detail through the course. I just want to give you a brief introduction to what these are and how they function basically. Okay, so talking about tables, this is where the data is stored. This is where the data lives. They provide a structure and it is organized in the form of fields and records. We'll see what fields and records are specifically when we open up Access database. Coming to queries, it functions, it retrieves specific data from the tables or other queries and it displays only the data that you specify. Basically, it allows you to ask questions. Okay, and the answer is there in the form of queries. So it filters or calculates a list of records that look and function just like a table. As I told you, the third component of Access is forms. Forms are used to enter data, edit or delete records. Now, data is normally entered through forms rather than through tables, and it also provides a very interactive framework to your database. So, the next component is forms. The last component, the main component of Access, is reports. These are basically the output. They summarize the fields and records from a table or a query, and it brings it in a very easy to read format, something you can that can be printed out directly and can be used for analysis. So reports gather information from table, queries and other format, and in a standardized page layout it gives the output which can be printed, exported or emailed to colleagues basically. Okay, so these were the components of Access which we are going to see in detail. Now, what are the advantages of using Access? First of all, the duplicate data is minimized. The information is more accurate, reliable, efficient, and consistent. And this is because of the earlier point we said, that is, the duplicate is minimized. In other words, if you have one customer with multiple orders that they have placed, but you do not have the same customer at multiple times in the database. So the duplicate data is minimized. It looks more presentable. It looks very easy, and to analyze it, it becomes very, very simpler if it's in the Access. Okay. So data entry is also easier and faster using forms, and information can be, quickly viewed and sorted in any way that you would prefer using forms and reports. Information is more secured, okay, using Microsoft Access, because you have the option to limit access to the database by providing or using passwords, and there are various levels of security that can be given to the database, which it makes it very secure. And finally, yes, multiple users of the same database. Okay, this database can be used by multiple users at the same time. So these are the various advantages of using Access. This was just in the theoretical form. When we actually start looking at Access and do it practically, you will understand that how helpful Access can be in maintaining databases.